Hey guys, it's me. I'm back with another prophetic word, and today I just wanted to get into some prophetic things that the Lord has definitely gave to me within these last couple of days to almost 2 weeks. First thing I want to start off is by saying take these words back to God, because He is the author and the finisher of all things, and He can confirm this for you. He can give you confirmation to let you know if these words are for you or not. If you are in these situations, and if you are in a predicament to where He is supposed to be bringing someone back into your life or making a promise come to pass in your life. So yeah. Okay. First thing I want to start off by getting into is the first detail. So your kingdom spouse, they've hit rock bottom. They've either hit rock bottom or they're about to hit rock bottom, and they're about to hit burnout. They're about to hit burnout, but they're about to experience burnout if they haven't already. So these are some things that are getting ready to come to pass, or they've already set in motion and they're already happening. So I ended up researching pretty much the definition of these words, but I'm first going to get into how I got these two words on your kingdom spouse, on how these kingdom spouses are hitting rock bottom and how they're feeling burnt out and just at their last, end of the road. So it all started during a fellowship session I had with another person in Christ. I haven't been able to really be as much in the spirit with the Father and fellowship with other people like I've been wanting to, due to it being getting ready to be final season. School is very much a thing that can sometimes get in the way, particularly grad school. So yeah, I've been working a lot on things pertaining to grad school, so that's why I haven't been really able to make words or put the words out like I need to. So I ended up fellowshipping with another fellow believer, and it primarily started off with me discussing a couple of prophetic things I've been getting during the week that I haven't been able really to jot down, but I have been seeing them involuntarily. And it led to me also reanalyzing a dream that I had, because the Lord did give me 2 dreams. And during all of this, everything was okay. Ended up sitting in my car as well, due to it just being a more better enclosed and more private space to where I can really talk about the Lord the way I want to. And I don't mean like I'm not talking about the Lord any way I want to outside. I prefer to be in my car. So after a little while, something weird started happening. My car ended up having issues during the fellowship session. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? My car ended up, weird things started happening. My car, and already before me and the other person I was fellowshipping with already concluded that, because it was my family member, that we both already concluded that particular day felt very spiritual already, and it was getting closer towards the nighttime and into the midnight, and it felt very, very spiritual. And due to it probably being more later as the night and as the days and stuff go on, and at first I ignored it because I didn't feel like I was able to really feel it that much until things started happening. So things started happening to my car. It ended up not cranking up, and it slowly and gradually started to die out, and the engine was losing power and everything. After a while, it completely went dead and nothing was working anymore, and no temporary fixes worked at all. No jump starts or nothing. And this was all for a quick moment. After all this ended up happening, the Lord ended up revealing prophetic intel through this situation to me. So it was definitely a temporary situation. But My car ended up not working at all. No temporary fixes worked. No boosting the car off or nothing like that. None of that worked. Like, it was for a little bit as well. And I ended up trying to call my people, pretty much the ones that I would call for whenever things like this happened with my car. And coincidentally enough, they didn't pick up and they didn't answer. So I kind of was just sitting there, and me and the family member was kind of just sitting there wondering what's really going on, and why does it seem like something weird is going on. Like, the situation seemed very peculiar already, and other things have been happening as well that we've been noticing. So after I kind of sat there a little bit, I started to get revelation. And what the Lord had dropped to me was that these kingdom spouses, they've hit rock bottom. Like, they've hit rock bottom. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find my words. They hit rock bottom. They can't call on nobody. No one's there for them. No one's answering for them. And they've completely hit the point to where they cannot run to nothing else or nobody else but God. And I'm about to get into that in a second. And basically, the two things that I ended up receiving during that moment, which let me know for sure that the whole situation was God speaking about something, was, number one, that they've hit rock bottom, and that they're burnt out pretty much. And that's when I ended up going, like, after a little while of sitting on those things and receiving them prophetically, that's when I had went and looked up both of the words. Guys, I kid you not, what I'm about to tell you will let you know that it's nothing but God in this situation, and that he is still blatantly speaking no matter how much Satan tries to intervene. I looked up rock bottom definition. I scroll down, I see the definition, and a little bit down the screen, why are there things talking about God right there? And I need you guys to realize how specific this is, and how prophetic this is, and how supernatural this is, because rock bottom has nothing, like, on Google, like, in the world, when you're technically and logically looking just for one particular thing, God is not usually always, he's not in the searches or in the relatability parts of it. He's not. We know how the world is about the Father. When I looked up the word rock bottom definition, all I was looking for was a definition. Why'd I scroll down and it had different, like, though, you know how on Google, how it has those things where you can click them and it shows different questions and different answers and just different things like that, like where it expands after you click it and it shows the answer to whatever question that was on that little thing, or just little search or an extra search. That's what it was. Why did I scroll down? And again, guys, I need you to realize that that's not what pops up when you search up a definition for a word. Nothing about God pops up unless it's directly related to God. And the word rock bottom, it's not directly linked to God. So I looked the word up to get the definition. What I got for the definition of rock bottom was at the lowest level possible. While I look down, it says, what does God say about rock bottom? I don't know why it's talking about God. It should not be talking about the Father, but it was, letting you know the Father is there and he's in these details. Right under that, it had said, what does Proverbs 18:22 really mean? What does Proverbs blah, blah, blah really mean? What does Proverbs have to do with hitting rock bottom? What does the search I put in have to do with Bible verses? I need you guys to, like, really think it. And I'm going to try to show, like, a screenshot or two. If I don't, I apologize for even saying that I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try to remember to include some screenshots to show you guys that this is definitely supernatural. Like, all of it, the whole situation, and that God is speaking. Because I scrolled down after looking up that definition, and it has different things talking about God. And guys, you want to know something? I went back later on. Why was it all gone? That's Jesus Christ for you. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how else to tell you how real he is, or how much more he could just speak through situations like this. So that's when, like I was saying, right after that, it brought up God, and it brought up a man finding a wife. The search about what does Proverbs 17:22 really mean, or 18:22 really mean. Mind you, this is after I typed in rock bottom definition and hit enter. Right under the definition of all that was other things talking about, randomly, by the way. Randomly. It has nothing to do with nobody hitting rock. What does a wife have to do with somebody hitting rock bottom? Tell me in the comments if y'all know. Like I was saying though, what does rock bottom have to do with the man finding a virtuous wife? So that's why you know this is God. So right there under that thing where it said, what does Proverbs 18:22 really mean? It has said exactly that Proverbs 18:21 means, or the meaning of it is talking about a man finding a virtuous wife and finding a loving partner, or a godly divine spouse that gives them wisdom, happiness, and love, and is the embodiment of Christ in a man's life. Guys, I need you to realize God is supernatural. He can move and do whatever he wants, and I need y'all to realize that. Right after seeing that, guys, I kid you not, I threw the phone and ran out the car. I threw my phone and I ran out the car. It was okay though. I was parked in a driveway. Don't worry, guys. I wasn't driving on the road, but I had to go and put my phone down and run down the street. Because are you serious? Are you serious? And it's just like, it's the simple fact that stuff like that sit there and happen. That right there sits there and happens, stuff like that. And people don't think God is real. Then it was another one. It says, what does this, I forgot what Proverbs verse it was, but it was like, what does Proverbs something means? And it talked about, basically, if a person repays good with evil, they will get judgment rained upon them and their whole family. Why instantly I got revelation that these kingdom spouses, these prodigals that have done you wrong, you people who are the standing spouses that have done you wrong, your kingdom spouse that has done you wrong, that has left you, that has wronged you, that have maybe betrayed you, who have left out of just unreasonable circumstances, whatever they did, which ended up making this separation happen, was evidently enough them repaying your good deeds, in which you, not your good deeds, but like them repaying the goodness that the Lord told you to do upon them, whether that was praying for them, being there for them, being kind for them, being graceful to them. They repaid that by causing a separation, by causing either making you have to go and just leave because your mental sanity was just getting to a point at an all-time low because of them, or them leaving you after you did nothing but be good to them. And that verse right there let me know that was directly God speaking, letting me know that they had went through judgment for what these prodigals went through, judgment for what they did. And if their families aren't covered in the blood of Jesus, and if their families aren't saved, the families incurred, and they went under it too, and they don't even know why. They went under different types of just circumstances, different things, and don't even know why. And it's because of someone in their bloodline that's sitting there reaping what they sowed. So that's one thing I want to tell y'all. God is real. And this was all under the search of rock bottom, I promise you. And I'm going to try to remember to put a screenshot of this in there, guys, because this is not, I'm not making this up. So that's when I got all of that. Again, guys, I got so shocked to the point where I ran out of my car and I ran down the street almost. Walked a little bit. I was like, nope, this can't be real. Yeah, it gets to that point. So after coming back and collecting myself, I ended up Hold on. Okay, so yeah, that ended up happening. Now let's get into the revelation of what God was basically trying to say throughout all that. Like, he was definitely speaking. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just, we're just not gonna sit here and play and act like God's not speaking. He was speaking. So, okay, next thing, whenever I seen the whole thing where it was like, what does Proverbs 18:22 mean? And guys, I promise you I will start off, because what does Proverbs have to do with rock bottom definitions? The definition for a word, me looking up a Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition. Where is a proverb? Where is a Bible verse coming into play? You guys get what I'm saying here? Okay. So the revelation I got from all of that, though, was that what the Lord was basically saying is that your kingdom spouse, and this is speaking from an overall standpoint, like a general standpoint, your kingdom spouse is going to be blessed with you once you guys reconcile again. And in the future, especially when they marry you, make you their wife. Pretty much, you are the virtuous wife. The Lord is either pruning you or building you, and he's getting ready to put you straight up into the marriage covenant very soon with your kingdom spouse. There actually isn't no other option. The Lord is pruning. He's pruning his daughters right now. And we're sorry, I'm stuttering. I'm trying to get my words. The Lord is pruning us right now, and he's pruning us so that we can, again, be that virtuous wife, if we're not already, so that we can be that wife that is able to be wise and give our husbands wisdom, and be able to provide happiness to our husbands, and give godly wisdom and godly advice, and be the embodiment of Christ through ourselves to our spouses. That's essentially what's supposed to happen during a godly marriage. Really, any marriage, but you know how the world likes to deviate and do things on their own, and they complain about it not working. It's about, whenever you find your partner, they're supposed to be like a physical embodiment of Jesus Christ. I don't mean no heresies or no doctrine, no, I don't mean nothing like that. I mean just like, they are supposed to be like a not walking spitting image, but like portraying what Jesus Christ spoke about, and just what he was about. They're supposed to be displaying that. Like, they're supposed to literally be displaying the essence of Christ through themselves, so that you can like receive love from God in human form. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? I'm trying to explain it in a way to where it's not sounding like, like new age doctrine. Like, no, I'm just saying that pretty much whenever both individuals are saved and they're pursuing Christ to the fullest potential, it's supposed to be you and your spouse embodying the love of Christ to each other. There we go. So that you guys can feel the love of Jesus Christ through each other, because you both possess the Holy Spirit. There we go. And now that these spouses have went through the judgment, they've been through the things, they've hit rock bottom, or they're getting ready to hit rock bottom and hit mental burnout on everything, they can now finally step into what they need to step into the calling. That's why God allows things to happen on the time he does. Because during the whole time period, you're going to be okay. You might want your person, but you're not going to get them yet. And also, with the Lord prophetically speaking and putting up Proverbs 18:21 and talking about a virtuous wife and all those different things, that's also God reaffirming and reconfirming the whole marriage promise in general. He's letting you know pretty much that the marriage promise is still on. It's not done. It hasn't faded away. It's not going to go away just because maybe you don't want it, or you're doing this or doing that. Now you can cause a delay, but it's still on your life. You've already accepted it, and God has already put it over your life. So now what? That's essentially what is going on, though, here. Like, God is pretty much saying still, you're still going to get married. You're still going to have that godly marriage. You're still going to walk in your calling. Your kingdom spouse is still going to come back. Like, that's just the ultimate, like, it's said and done. Your kingdom spouse is still going to come back. They're still going to get saved. If they're not already, they're still going to walk in their calling. And they're still going to receive you, that virtuous wife. Now, if the Lord is still working on you to become one, okay, you're going to get there. But that's my whole point. God is just He's reconfirming. That's like heavily reconfirming it. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to look through my notes. Okay, so your kingdom spouse, not your kingdom spouse. You're going to be the virtuous wife, like I just said a while ago, for your kingdom spouse. And you're going to bring wisdom, support, and happiness. And your kingdom spouse is going to, like, realize that while they're receiving that, while you give that. Because that's what you bring to the table and more as a woman of God. Now, another thing that the Lord just kind of helped me, because he helped me revisit these events. There was more things that happened a week before. I want to say about a week before this, all of this happened, which might have literally been quite literally last week. I had hit rock bottom, like, not rock bottom, but I had hit a point where I was burnt out. I had experienced exactly the burnout that the Lord had said that that the kingdom spouses are experiencing in this moment or getting ready to experience. And it let me know that means what I went through must have had some prophetic significance. And I started to think, what did I do whenever I experienced mental burnout? Because this is giving I think, because I was like, is this possibly giving some insight of what the Lord is saying that these spouses could do next? So that's when I assessed what I went through. I noticed whenever I went through it, I was going through it. Then I hit the lowest point, of course, and then that's when I reached out for help. I reached out for guidance because I couldn't do it alone anymore. I had to really just go and reach out for help because the situation was getting to a point where I couldn't get out of it on my own. I didn't feel like my guidance or my own efforts were enough to even help me out of the situation. And then I made a plan to tackle the problem at hand. And then I slowly took the steps to pace myself and to walk into the plan. And I also ended up making actions to take care of myself. So self-care. And it made me realize these kingdom spouses, there's a possibility that they could start reaching out for help, especially during this time period. They could start reaching out for help and can start reaching out for guidance. Now, do these kingdom spouses, being males and men, and this is not for everybody, your kingdom spouse is like, they might be a male, but still might not be so afraid to maybe reach out directly and explain they need help mentally. But so a lot of men, there's a stigma, just that, not a stigma, but a lot of men don't want to ask for help. They don't want to receive help. They don't want to go get help. And it's not because they don't want to be better. It's the fact they have to have someone help them because they feel weak in that moment. And a lot of men don't like that. So this is what I had got, is that possibly these kingdom spouses could start reaching out for help and guidance in subtle ways. Some might do it in more obvious ways, but primarily what I felt was that they could start reaching out for guidance in more subtle ways. And one way that could look like would be things like them asking people close to them or around them questions on how to deal with certain things. And it could be in a way of where it sounds like they're just trying to learn new information and it's not pertaining to them personally, but the way they ask the question could give away that it's quite literally for them. Or they could go and start Googling questions about different circumstances. Because again, these kingdom spouses, they don't want to have to sit there and explain this whole situation to someone. A lot of them already don't have that many people in their lives, are very private, don't want to talk to too many people, have avoidant tendencies, different things like that. So they could definitely start Googling questions, researching online and different things like that about different things, different circumstances, what to do, how to deal with them if they don't feel too comfortable talking to a physical person. Overall, the whole point is they can start seeking outside sources other than themselves. Next, these kingdom spouses, after they research a good amount enough, or even starting during the research process, where they go out and ask people questions or research online, they could start, they're more than, let me choose better words. These kingdom spouses will they would go on to make a plan on how they can handle this whole situation. So they could start slowly, mentally pacing themselves and prepping themselves to come back if they're not already. And that could be them getting more acceptable, like just accepting the idea of coming back more, accepting the idea of them having to reach out, all those different things, of having to put their ego and their pride aside. And then God also could be with them, and God will probably be with them during this process and probably be there to help them. Next, they could start to do small things to take care of themselves, to help them out during this time period. Some self-care, essentially. And the other thing that I definitely got was that these kingdom spouses could definitely get ready to put in the effort to tackle this whole situation. But when they do it though, they're going to do it in a slow pace. Again, I noticed whenever I went through mental burnout, whenever it came to me having to go through life or having to sorry guys, having to go through life or having to do my schoolwork or still having to get up and go do different things, I noticed I had to pace myself. I had to be in it for a little bit, do the work a little bit, and then stop myself. I had to take a lot of breaks so that I could breathe, so that I wouldn't get overwhelmed, so that I wouldn't feel like I'm stressed out or just, so I had to definitely do that. And what I'm saying here is these kingdom spouses could be experiencing this exact same thing. They could focus on this situation a little bit at a time. Think about it a little bit at a time. And then take a small break from it. And then go back to it. Now, of course, due to this not pertaining to exactly like a task or schoolwork, it could be a lot more differently. And I don't know how it could be a lot more differently, like whenever it comes to like a connection with a person, because these are things where emotions are involved. So that's something definitely, like, if you feel led to go look up, you definitely can. If the Lord is leading you to go look that up, of how it would look for a person to mentally kind of pace themselves with that type of situation and stuff like that, you can go look it up. But I know that it probably would involve them reducing the amount of time they think about the situation and all those different things, so that they can still keep their own mental sanity and build themselves back up and build up their tolerance and everything in between to be able to handle this. I know that whenever, and I'm still recovering from mental burnout, that I have to still pace myself. It's a process, and it's something that can be long term
to where you have to it's a long-term process, meaning it's not going to happen. It might not happen fully overnight. And with all of that, that's why it's taking so long, essentially. There's a good amount of time. That's why there's a good amount of time before your kingdom spouses come back. It's because they have to focus on a thing little by little so that they can still be okay mentally, so that they can get out of this hole and be able to handle the situation and prepare their mind at the same time. So yeah, after with my car, with that whole situation, in the end, my car ended up getting powered back up. That's one thing I want to say. My car ended up being able to be boosted off, being able to get powered back on, which was crazy because the first time, whenever I tried to boost it off, and these are brand new vehicles. The first one was a brand new vehicle that it was getting boosted off from. It didn't work. So, yeah, whenever I had tried to do it the first time, it didn't work. No juice was in there and nothing was working. But the second time, it had got boosted back up. It powered up. Everything was back to normal and everything was in great condition. And the car got boosted up and everything was okay in the end. And it just prophetically spoke to me. And what I got was that all situations will have a good outcome if God is involved. This whole situation with your kingdom spouse, God is involved. So there will be a good outcome. Now, the other thing that I got prophetically was that God will resurrect your spouse and your situation back from the dead. If you look in the thumbnail, if you look in the picture that I had decided to pick for this video, you can see that there's a single dead rose in a vase. The rose is representing your situation. This is how your situation looks right now. Your situation looks dead. It looks dry. It looks lifeless. You can't see anything happening. Nothing is going on. But what I'm here to say is that the Lord will resurrect you if you feeling like you're dead and on your last leg. Resurrect your spouse and resurrect your whole situation back from the dead, where the situation has life, to where there's movement. And another thing that I got prophetically is that God is doing something. He's doing something in the spouse's life. There's a possibility, and this is not for everyone, but this is for whoever it is, you will know. There's a possibility that God could be doing something, and he could be exposing you to your kingdom spouse's family, so that when they meet you in person, along with your kingdom spouse, or not along with them, they're going to know your kingdom spouse, but when they meet you, when you're with your kingdom spouse, they will get the revelation, oh, that's why I seen her where I seen her. That's why the Lord pointed her out to me. And the Lord possibly could be showing you if your kingdom spouse has saved family members, there's a possibility during this time, the Lord could be showing those saved family members that he could be exposing you prematurely, not even prematurely, but just like pre-exposing or pre-revealing you to those saved family members for your that are on your kingdom spouse side, so that they can know who you are. Due to them being saved, they will be able to get prophetic intel from the Lord and receive revelation and have discernment about the whole situation, about the kingdom marriage possibly as well. And the Lord, he could possibly use those saved family members on your kingdom spouse's side as destiny helpers. So this is for a specific group of people. It might not be for everybody, but yeah, the Lord might be revealing you right now to your kingdom spouse's saved family members, so just be ready. They might know who you are before y'all even meet. I just want to say that. Okay, and the last thing that I had got was I heard in spirit resurrected or resurrecting a dead situation. What I had also received or saw, and this was in the last couple of days, was I seen like at least 3 wedding confirmations. Confirmations about a wedding and confirmations that a wedding is just still on the way. And that it's still in the works. So pretty much be planning for it. You don't have to stress about it. You can include God in the process. Well, you should. Not that you could or could not, but you should include him in the process. And pretty much like that. So yeah, the Lord is resurrecting your marriage promise, and he's resurrecting your situation, and your wedding is still on the way. So keep having faith, guys. Keep walking in the spirit. Keep praying. Keep it up, because it'll all be paying off in the end. And whenever it pays off, everyone will see all the hard work that you put in, all the praying, and God especially will reward you for being obedient and staying firm on this process. Staying firm on this process, because it's not always going to be easy, but it's about if you push through and stay loyal to the Father. Thank you guys for listening to this prophetic word, and I hope you guys have a good day. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to comment anything, comment any revelations you got or anything, testimonies, comment them, guys. I will read the comments, and thank you for watching.